Morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is for you. This is going to be a group energy healing where I heal 131 people in 13 different countries. And I narrate what I'm doing as I do it, which makes it a self-healing walkthrough as well, if you wish to use it that way. And the theme for all the 5 healings this month is healing, unblocking, repairing traditional Chinese medicine meridians, TCM, traditional Chinese medicine meridians in the body, which you would think only helps you physically, but that's not at all the case. They are, I was going to say they're magical, but you know, whatever. Magical makes it seem not real, but they're physical pathways in the physical body, but they really do affect emotions, mind, state of mind, psychology, boundaries with other people, you know, all the stuff that we love working. So, I do value working this stuff a lot because of that. It's a good complement to the regular work that we usually do with chakras, the major chakras along the spine, and the auras and grounding and stuff. So it'll be a nice hybrid month working, but we will work traditional Chinese medicine meridians more than we probably usually do. They're really cool. And I did, the theme is TCM Meridian Healing 2024 because I did do, in April of 2023, I did this theme. You know, obviously I'll be doing it in a unique way this year than I did last year. It won't be just a repeat. But I did link the playlist for the 2023 TCM videos, the April 2023 videos, in the info section of this video. And of course, the videos from this month will be in their own playlist as well, which is also linked. Thanks for my confirmations. I really appreciate it. Also linked in the info section is a playlist of 12 TCM meridians listed in the order of flow, because like the energy flows from one meridian into the other, into the other, into the other, into the other. And so I list them in that order in the playlist. Those videos I didn't make. They're super cool. Each one is like a minute long, and it shows the pathway. It shows a specific meridian, one of the 12 regular meridians of the physical body. It shows the pathway, and it's like, so you can see the motion of it, the direction of flow, and where it goes from where to where. And there are little dots shown representing each of the acupuncture points, which are minor chakras. So we do work this kind of stuff a lot because whenever I heal, most of the time when I'm repairing and unblocking chakras, I'm repairing and unblocking all major and minor chakras. So that would include all the acupuncture points in all the meridians, but it is extra special to just kind of focus on them. So, oh, and I did want to mention regarding the 2023 videos, back then I probably other streamers already knew about chapter titles and stuff, and I was doing timestamps, but I was putting them in the comment section back then because my healing summary with timestamps was so wordy that sometimes it didn't fit into the info section. So what I'm going to do, I've since realized, you know, in the last, I don't know, 5 months or so, chapters are so cool. Like, so you can see them right at the bottom, you know, and scroll through and just pop to different chapters. It's so convenient. So I will make chapters for all the TCM videos, the April 2023 ones. So I'm going to go back and fix it. So the timestamps are, you know, there is a brief version of timestamps with chapter titles in the info section so that it'll pop up as chapters. so you could scroll through and easily pop right to a section. So I may do that today. We'll see how my productivity is after healing 131 people for over an hour. But I do plan to do it soon. So I'll let you guys know in the next stream in 2 days if I've done it already. I hope to. So I think that's general news. Of course, this healing is healing one of 3 of the triplet set, the June triplet, and then the last 2 healings of the month, that's the June twin set. So people purchase them separately, the triplet set and the twin set. Of course, most people do them all through, and they have a subscription, but you could have purchased just the June triplet set or just the June twin set 2 months ago when they were on sale on my website. And speaking of subscriptions, if that is what you want and you want all the healings every month, all 5, or you just want the final 2 of each month, the twin set, I do have those subscriptions for sale on my website in small quantities. If they're sold out, you can email me and ask about it. Maybe I'll be able to put more up, but they are usually, they haven't been for sale like that. You just have to ask me and then I'll let you know and blah blah blah. But right now there's just a purchase icon on my website, jwhealing.com. If you did want to, if you know already you want a full subscription for all the healings each month, or you want just the twin set. There's no triplet only subscription because triplets sell out insanely fast, and so there's no point for me to give a subscription for just a triplet. So if you only want to do triplets, then you have to buy manually on the 15th when they have a page before they sell out. Probably for some people. But anyway, like I said, most people do all of them. They have a full subscription. But you don't have to. I do set aside some each month so that you could sort of pick and choose and buy on the 15th. Sometimes some twin set spots are still available on the 16th, even the 17th or the 18th, but don't count on it. But you can always check. But subscriptions, there are a few for sale now on my website. So that's general information. And then I do have a special news item, which I'm gonna little. Okay, so this is possibly a grief trigger for some people, which is why I'm saying it at the start of the healing so that then you can clear if something does get triggered by this information. But we have senior pets basically, so you know, a lot of times in a year, you know, one pet will pass away because a crossover, you know, their life will be done. And we will give them a nice gentle exit. And so that did happen with Abel, who was the beagle that was more leggy, had longer legs, and his fur got pretty pale over the years with his age. And he would wear a cone often because he would kind of mess with himself. He was more fidgety during the session. So if you heard a beagle walking around a lot of times that was him. So anyway, he crossed over last month. And I didn't announce it publicly because, and this is something I recommend to others if you're interested. It's much easier to, and energetically the boundaries are much simpler if you tell people about some grief event after you're done. I mean, after you're, you know, as done as you can be processing from it, because it's harder for people to have boundaries. You know, with the grief stuff, you know, they're like, oh, my heart goes out to you, oh, you know, and they subconsciously cord your baggage, which makes it so much harder to clear. So it's easier just to get your clearing done. If you don't have to tell people about it, you know, just wait and get all your clearing done and take your time and then tell people. That way, you know, so like you guys hearing it now, you don't have to worry that you're going to be courting some baggage of mine accidentally on it. I mean, you can always say, you know, angels, please help me with boundaries. Angels, please help me to have healthy boundaries with, you know, Janet Wright, with anybody that you're concerned that you might be getting in their head or in their heart or whatever, you know. That's always a nice thing to say, you know, just ask your angels to help you with boundaries with a person, with you and a person. But anyway, but he had a nice gentle exit. He was the oldest dog that we've ever had, 14 and a half. And we were able to, you know, give him a nice exit. You know, it wasn't like a gruesome, long drawn out kind of end. And he had a lot of, peace in his final years, you know. But anyway, it was harder on my husband because that was sort of my husband's dog. My husband's like, I feed the pets usually most of the time. I do the feeding, not always, but most of the time. And my work area is in the living room, so I'm always around them. And so a lot of them bond to me a little more than to my husband, even though they love him too. But Abel, it didn't matter. Didn't matter that I fed him, didn't matter that I took him out more often. Lorenzo, my husband, was like Abel's sun and moon and stars and everything. It was really adorable to see. So anyway, but we're both fine. Lorenzo and me are fine. Abel's fine now, of course. He visits us constantly in spirit form. He crossed over and comes back to visit, which is true for all pets. They can do that and usually do. So the whole like always waiting for you over the Rainbow Bridge stuff, I don't really see that they like go away and wait for you somewhere else. It's like, why would they bother if you allow, you know, the spirits of your pets into your home? Then of course they're just going to hang out with you just like they used to, you know, just in spirit form. So both my husband and I always have big entourages of spirit pets around us that, you know, previously physical pets that we've had that are now in spirit form only. So we have quite a happy crew sleeping around us all the time. But anyway, so that's the grief triggering news potentially. But now we'll do a nice thorough healing, so it'll be all cleared. The good thing about clearing grief, you can never do it too much. First of all, it doesn't make you feel more grief. It makes you feel less grief, which is great. And it's always good to do because grief in general, the reason why it's hard for people is because they tend to not clear it. They tend to just push it to the side, push it behind them, repress it. And then all the backlog of unprocessed grief can get triggered all at once with a new grief event. And so then that's why grief is so debilitating. It's not that I mean, it's hard to process the transition, yes, for people that are still around, you know, if your loved one crosses over, but it's more that it's like unprocessed grief from, you know, a ton of lifetimes that you haven't cleared. So it's good to clear that backlog of grief. So that way, yeah, things are easy. And the trick with clearing grief is always flow, releasing. So releasing in the bottom of all your auras, releasing down your grounding. If you keep it flowing, it doesn't, you know, you don't get all choked up and weird, you know, it's very subtle, the feeling. Whereas, you know, so if you ever feel grief in a sort of a severe way, somehow you got blocked up. So you can, you know, unblock your major chakras, unblock your grounding, unblock the bottom of your auras, you know, just get it all dumping out, releasing towards the core of the earth, because then it returns to a very subtle sensation, which is unhelpful. So that's that. Enough of that. Oh, thanks for the comment about my haircut. Yeah, excited about it. Thank you. Yeah, I actually ordered new reading glasses too. I got prescription ones because these are the reading glasses I have been wearing. They're all like, you know, 4 pairs for $20 on Amazon type reading glasses. I never really got an official reading glasses prescription. Well, maybe I did like years ago. So I went and I got, you know, I went to Costco, and which for those of you who are in other countries, Costco is like it's one of these stores that sells things in large quantities, you know, for cheaper, but it's an ethical one actually, unlike Walmart and Sam's Club. Costco gives their employees really good benefits, and they don't they're very pro employee, which is really unique among large companies like that. So anyway, I went to Costco, and I got you know, picked frames that I liked, and I got, you know, exam and everything, and so but I don't know when. I was hoping those frames would be ready for today, but so that I could debut my prescription special reading glasses with my new haircut. But oh well, you'll have to settle for a staggered debut. So those are coming soon. I don't know when though. I wanted them to be done for today. Definitely by the twin set later this month, but I'm hoping one of the triplet set healing, you know, in the next couple days, well, I'll be able to show one of my new pairs of reading glasses, but we'll see. Okay. So that actually so that was the last couple minutes. I'll fix it with the chapters. So that there's a special chapter for the haircut part. You want to skip the grief news and go right to the haircut news. But anyway, okay. So then now we'll actually discuss the theme. How about that? Wild and crazy. Overview, maybe. Okay, so as I already announced, this is Traditional Chinese Medicine Meridians this month, June 2024. Still adjusting to that it's June, because our weather really hasn't felt very June-ish or May-ish even. So I'm like still in shock. But anyway, Traditional Chinese Medicine Meridians, we will do a lot of that. I already talked about it right at the start of the live stream too, the theme. In case you missed that, you could go back. But the overview of techniques today, I know we're going to clear grief to help the meridians actually. And that's not because I had grief triggering news. I actually was reading one of the clients that the angels pointed out to me that I'm healing today, and they had some unprocessed grief that seemed to be like making the flow of in their meridians kind of sludgy. So today's going to be kind of spontaneous like that. I'm going to just look at, I mean, of course we'll do the 4 essentials or the 5 essentials, whatever, you know, lots of chakra and aura stuff at the start, but then I'll alternate that with you know, just reading sample people and what they need to help their meridians flow better. Because just like I mentioned with grief clearing in the grief chapter just earlier, flow, release, you know, not so much releasing for meridians, I guess, but flow and just having the energy be light and, you know, and yours, not all sludgy and heavy. It's really a big deal for meridians. Meridians are a little bit more of a closed system. It's not like, you know, major chakras, they put the energy out into one of the aura layers. 7 aura layers of the physical body or 7 aura layers of the astral body. But meridians, you know, they flow within themselves, but then they flow to a different meridian and a different meridian and a different meridian. And also you have your CV meridian and your GV meridian, which kind of take some overflow from those meridians. So it's not purely closed, but a little different, you know, like with a chakra, major chakra, like say your 5th chakra, it should generate enough that when the energy comes out the back, it just fills up the whole 5th layer of, say, your physical body 5th layer or your astral body 5th layer, depending on which 5th chakra it is. But, you know, there's more of like this, you know, whereas with meridians, it's like a river, you know, and you want the boundaries of the river to be very flexible, rather than hard. You want them to be sort of flowy and red and like that you can see ripples and you know, movement even in that outer surface of the meridian. So at some point I'll be working that. I think I mentioned it briefly, like in the last healing, probably when we worked the 7th chakra and the creative rings together, and we also worked the GV meridian, just the top part, and then the topmost point of the GV meridian, which is GV20. And we worked all that so it wasn't so rigid, it was more flowy. You know, that the GV meridian right there. So anyway, I don't want to talk too much about it. I just want to do it when we do it. But the flow and the sort of the outer appearance of each meridian is important. You don't want hard rigidness. So should be cool. What else do I want to say? That might be most of it. Oh, so I did just want to mention the May twin set 2 of 2 healing. That one, you know, it is interesting because most people, I mentioned earlier that the triplet sets always sell out faster than the twin sets. Because, you know, at a surface glance, well, 3 healings, that's better than 2 healings, right? But a lot of times that final twin set healing, I'm really at the top of my game. Like, you know, especially if the theme has been the same theme all month, then it's just like, just like kind of the best of is that second healing of the twin set. And, you know, and the first healing is pretty smoking too. So the twin set, you know, that's the funny thing. So I would say never underestimate a twin set. Like this one woman, she's like, oh, boo-hoo me, I got the twin set instead of the triple set, which I'm sure is a common reaction, you know, for people that are a little late on the draw and then they can buy the twin set, but the triplet's already sold out. But the May twin set is a perfect example of like, of that. The twin sets sometimes are, technically speaking, I would say better. I mean, you know, whatever, they're both great. You can, you know, if you're in the right, if you're really open to it, either one is fantastic to use to change and grow and, you know, be a catalyst for your self-improvement. But anyway, that May twin set 2 of 2, I may actually download that and then release some of the chapters as short videos, because they were like, there was one chapter specifically later. I don't think I called it this in the live stream, but later I called it Mind Garden. I don't know if I called it that in the live stream, but it's like they were 2 gardens and they're connected, they're not separate, and one represents your subconscious mind and one represents your conscious mind. And I walk through clearing, in general, clearing to help communication, and then also clearing to help special projects, and nourishing too, with flower healing, nourishing your mind gardens. And I really enjoyed that later as a walkthrough, and I think it had a big effect on people too. And even just there were 2, like in that 4 essentials or 5 essentials, sometimes now I do a 5th essential. The last 2 essentials were just pretty smoking. I mean, they were intense though. So just a heads up, when you're using this live stream or one of these live streams as a walkthrough, cut yourself some slack if you just want to do 1 or 2 chapters and then you're like good for a while, or you do 1 or 2 chapters and then you just want to improvise after that. You don't want to keep doing the recording as it stands, because it's a lot, like I did the walkthrough of like just 2 chapters, basically the 4th and the 5th essential, the creative rings, 7th chakra, the top of the GV Meridian, and the GV20. That's 1 chapter. And that's like a lot right there, that work. And then the next chapter was back here, like good karma windows, flow zone, good karma windows of the astral body, flow zone in that same area of the physical body, including the neck. And then including base of skull points and including upper chakras, like weaving, foreign energy out of all that. And it was like, it's really cool, but I'm just saying it's a lot, so I do it because people pay me to do a lot in these healings, and it's an honor to do that. But you know what I mean? Like, if you don't feel like doing that kind of work at 9 a.m. on a Monday, and you just want to do 1 of the chapters, or you just want to do a separate video or something, don't beat yourself up about it, because it's deep work. So anyway, I may release that, like the 4th essential and the 5th essential from the twin set 2 of 2. I'm not sure if I'll release them separately or together. But anyway, I just wanted to do like a little shout out to that video. Like if you didn't do any of the communications videos, but you want to do like one thing, maybe like do the mind garden one from 2 of 2 May and 2 of 2, which is the most recent one right before that. But like I said, I think I may, if I have time, it's on my to-do list, so we'll see. But if I have time and headspace, I will make 1, 2, or 3 short videos based on that live stream, just excerpts. So we'll see. I'll let you know if I do that. I'll let you know when I do that. How about that? Okay, so I think that's all the announcements I had. So I'm just going to glance over chat comments for a sec before we do our 3 minutes of. So hello, Janet, can see and hear you. Hello. Hey, Janet, we can see and hear you in Chicago, 75 and sunny. How nice. Yeah, I think I haven't looked at the weather lately, but I think we might be in the 70s today. We were in the 60s yesterday, but I worked. But my tomato starts are out on the back porch now. They're all like hardened off, which is, they get used to outdoor lighting, which is stronger than the indoor grow lights. And they had a bunch of cloudy days in a row, so that's really good for them to like get used to it gradually. So the tomato starts are really happy right now. It's like a little army of tomato starts, tomato plants on my back porch, which will be planted soon-ish. There's so many of them. But anyway, okay, fun haircut. Thank you. Hello, Janet. You look elegant today. Thank you. You're very kind. Nice haircut, Janet. Thank you. So glad I'm catching this live. I've been using traditional Chinese medicine to balance my liver and gallbladder. Look at you. Thank you for being you from Kelly in North Carolina. Well, hello. Thank you. Sorry about Abel. Yeah. Sorry for your loss, guys. Abel seemed to have quite an interesting character. Yeah, they all, well, because they're laboratory research survivors. Like, big companies, a lot of them, pharmaceutical companies, makeup companies, they use animals for experiments and they test products on them and drugs on them, which, you know, I would say is in most cases unnecessary and terrible. Maybe not in all cases, but anyway, it's really cruel for the animals, and they don't get to be outside. They don't get normal lives. But, you know, there is this rescue that talks these companies into giving them to them when they're done with them rather than putting them down, which is what most of them do. And so they get these dogs that have been in a cage their entire life. And that's what the 3 beagles that we had most recently, you know, Daisy's already crossed over and now Abel crossed over, and Izzy's still here. He's behind me sleeping and he's doing very well. He was our youngest of the laboratory rescue beagles. He only had to be in a laboratory for 2.5 years, which is still very cruel, but better than the other two. The other two, they spent 8 years, first 8 years of their lives in cages in a laboratory. So that's why he had such a unique personality. Was because, you know, it kind of messes them up. It definitely messes. And plus, whatever drugs they were testing also messes. So, but anyway, so it took a lot of intuition and angel help to get both Daisy and Abel to have good lives for their final years, but they did. You know, we kept trying different foods, different medication, especially for Abel, but we got it. We figured it out. They did have good lives in their second half of their life. So it was good. It says, I absolutely loved the mind garden work. Yeah. It's very calming and it really helped me with some of my goals. Yeah. Well, good. Yeah, I'm gonna make that its own video, the mind garden. You know, it's sort of a cousin of deep thought work, but deep thought work, you're not really imagining gardens, and I think, I don't know, I'm a gardener, so maybe that's why I like it. But, you know, whatever. So, mind garden, I don't know, it seems kind of nice. Okay, cool. So now we'll just do the 3 minutes of quiet where I finalize my prep. And I say hello to the people, the 131 people that I'm about to heal on a nonverbal spirit level, just so they're really, really, really sure that we're about to start. And then towards the end of that 3 minutes of quiet, you'll see me start the healing without talking. You'll see me go like that, and that's how you know that I've just started. And soon after that, I do start talking out loud, and the rest of it is me walking you through. If you wish, you know, I'll just narrate what I'm doing as I do it, so you could use it as self-healing walkthrough if you wish. But you don't have to. If you purchase the healing, you can just receive and enjoy and do whatever you want. You're getting healed, like even sleep or work or your friends or whatever. The healing still works. Okay. So 3 minutes of quiet, for real. Hey, thanks for waiting. All right, let's start with grounding, of course. So you can recreate both your groundings, the physical body grounding and the astral body grounding. Make them both as wide as all your auras. I would suggest you bring them up high as your third chakras from ends. So bring them up that high. Make both your groundings the same color, red or orange or yellow. Whichever helps you to release the most right now. And keep your groundings wide all the way down to the core of the earth. And you can make a copy out in front of you of both of your groundings and comb through it. Hold light from your hands. And you can imagine the blocks in your grounding and sort of consolidate them and melt them. Hold light. You have a big hand chakra and a fingertip chakra in each fingertip. So you set those with your intention to a metallic gold color. And that way, since those particular chakras are that color, when they generate energy, that's the color that they're generating. Even if you can't visualize gold light easily, you can just set it with your intention and it still happens. So again, just find blocks in your grounding and melt them away with gold light. And, you know, I did mention some grief triggering news. And you could have old grief about something stuck in your grounding. So just find a pile of grief if you have one in your grounding and just melt it away. It could be other people's grief too that they were generous with. You have piles of other people's grief in your grounding. Just melt that away with gold light. And then indie grounding is where you check the outer surface of both of your groundings all the way down to the core of the earth. And you melt away anything that's attached to your groundings. That your grounding is truly independent and just goes straight down to the core of the earth. That's better for you and that's better for other people because it's better if their grounding goes straight down as well. Even if you have a young child, it's better if their grounding just goes down straight to the core of the earth and not into your grounding. Otherwise, you could drive each other nuts pretty quickly. So just same with your pets. Have them have separate grounding. Alrighty. So aura repair is very important. You don't want to be leaking energy. Energy leaks attract invasive beings and invasive people. So sometimes, you know, people, they don't focus on the root cause of something. They kind of get distracted by, you know, a symptom more than the root cause. So the root cause of having a lot of invasive beings in your space would be that you're leaking energy. And so taking care of your energy leaks would make you less appealing to much less appealing to invasive beings and invasive people. So the idea is to intuit where you're leaking energy and take care of that. So your auras, you have 17 auras, and you can just imagine them all out in front of you. You have your physical body, your astral body auras, and then 15 auras called Wei Qi auras, which is a part of traditional Chinese medicine, although that's not taught in traditional Chinese medicine. It's taught that you do have Wei Qi that helps you with strong boundaries. We'll type that out here. and then the physical astral. So that's the 15. The 15 is Wei Qi auras, and then the physical and the astral, so that makes 17 auras. Anyway, so you just imagine all of them out in front of you, and you check for leaks. And how do they leak? Why do they leak? Well, you can have hard objects stuck in there, which messes with the surface tension and the seal at the edge, or you can just have giant rips and the hard objects, or just giant rips. But and you can, like, if I'm repairing my own rips, I probably just like to geek out and find the location and then, you know, heal it locally like that. Just imagine the hard objects, remove them, use so much gold light that everything washes out. If there are invasive beings in the way, ask angels to recycle them, and then just keep repairing until they all grow back. No more leaking there, and then I'll find another spot. But if you are less confident with your intuition and or your vision, or you have less free time to geek out with that stuff, you can do a composite copy technique, which is what we'll do now. So you imagine a rip and you say with your intention, okay, this rip represents all the rips in my 17 auras that I need to repair right now. And then you clean out the rip and you use more gold light even after that, and that'll cause it to grow back and repair itself. Right? So you imagine the rip, use sticky gold wax to clean it out, because sticky gold wax is gold light from your hands, but with your intention, it sticks to whatever's not you and forms like a hard lump. So then it's really much easier to remove everything and give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. So fill it up with sticky gold wax, remove all the junk. So invasive beings, invasive people, hard objects, remove all that from the rip. Angels, here you go. If you have a couple more hard objects, you know, more sticky gold wax, remove them. Angels, here you go. And then the extra gold light at the the deepest part of the rip, because that's where it'll start to repair and grow back, is at the deepest part. You don't have to make sound. All right, and then we're gonna do one more time, just for any leftover rips. Some rips are a little more stubborn, so if you have any leftover rips, just have one rip that represents all your leftover rips that you still need to repair, and then do the same process. So sticky gold wax, have it stick to all the junk, lift out the junk, give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax, lift out the junk. Angels, here you go. Double check, make sure no hard objects still stuck in there. Angels, here you go. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings in the way still? And then gold light, especially in the deepest part. Back. Okay, and then just double check for any hard stuff left over. Hardness, some people that don't understand energy work, or maybe they're not clairvoyant, so they can't see details. They wouldn't know maybe that hardness is actually weakness on a spirit level. You want flow. Flow is strength. If your aura is very flowing, it can withstand stuff being thrown at it, and maybe won't even tear at all, or will tear very little. If you have a lot of hardness in the outer surface or within, it's going to kind of draw in the force that's thrown at you from somebody and like multiply it. So everything will tear more easily. And so you'll get more deeper damage than you would otherwise. So again, flow is strength. not hardness, right? So just you can make a copy of all the hardness that you have within your auras on the outer surface or within little pockets of hardness, and just pile it up out in front of you. Say, angels, is it okay to clear all this right now? And then just lots of gold light and just melt away all that leftover hardness in your auras from leftover from having stuff thrown at you. And try not to get victim-y about having stuff thrown at you. You know, it's part of life. All right. Good job. Let's do a little celebration there. Yay, good job. So let's do So let's do a chakra repair and unblocking. Of all major and minor chakras. So minor chakras are several things, but a lot of the minor chakras are all those acupuncture points in the physical body, which are the little motors within the meridians that keep the energy flowing within the meridian, are those little minor chakras. Chakras, even the big ones, the major ones along your spine, they're motors. They keep, I mean, they do several things, but one of the main purposes is to keep the energy flowing and moving, right? So same thing with these minor chakras in your, along your meridians, which are all like written out, all the little minor chakra names, all the little acupuncture points, all written out on AccuDoll here. But anyway, so composite copy technique, just imagine this is like the basic chakra shape for any chakra. If you could please ignore that hand in there, just keeping the shape of this. But anyway, this is the basic shape, an open cylinder for your chakras. So just imagine a basic chakra shape, and then have, with your intention, have it represent all your major and minor chakras of your body and spirit. And just repair it with gold light, melt away cords going into it. Melt cords, melt cords. And unblock. You can have clogs around the round openings, wrapped around the cylinder part, or stuffed inside. So just imagine energy blocks and just melt them away. And again, this is you're repairing and unblocking all major and minor chakras at the same time, to the extent that's healthy and gentle to do right now. That's your intention, I would say, always should be. Intention always for doing healing. Again, melt cords, going into the chakras. You have any hard objects jammed in the chakras, just use sticky gold wax and remove the hard objects. Angels, here you go. Or just, you know, if you don't like sticky gold wax, that idea, just kind of grip onto them with gold light and lift out the hard objects. Angels, here. Do you have any invasive beings in the way of you repairing and unblocking your chakras? You can just say, angels, can you please recycle any invasive beings in the way of this healing? And you can kind of draw out the energy blocks and melt them away with gold light. Draw them out, melt them away. You kind of drag your fingers through the chakra and out, and just kind of pull out any blocks that you're ready to get rid of that are healthy and gentle, and just melt them all away. You can also drag them out and give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. Angels, here you go. And also you can just, rather than, you know, dragging out any hard objects or kind of lifting them out, you can also have them kind of pop out and explode all by themselves. That's kind of fun and useful. So, because you can have a lot of them. They could be like little ones that are like stuck in the flaps that are around each round opening. Your chakra flaps, if they're irritated and sticking out, they would look like that around the round opening. Also, the creative rings have that. The flaps that are creative rings are up here. We'll get to those soon. But anyway, so you can have hard objects stuck in each of those flaps or some of the flaps. So, I mean, you could just sort of have them all pop out and explode, all the hard objects. And just a little moment on vibe work. We did a lot of vibe work last month because we did purify communications, and a big part of communicating that is automatic, that you don't do on purpose, is your vibe, and it's the vibration of mostly your major chakras as they do their work. That can be sensed and generally is sensed by other people. It's a vibration that leaves you and goes, and so people can feel it, feel your vibe. And it's not invasive, it's not depleting, it's just, you know, part of how people sense other people. And but you can unblock your chakras so that your vibe is more pure. It's more like the real you. And so you're not, your vibe isn't so affected by your baggage. You know, it's better to vibe as like the real you versus, you know, the trauma that you've been through. You know, because if you vibe a lot as the trauma you've been through, it's easier to like get into conflict with other people because you're triggering their trauma by vibing with your trauma so much. And then everybody's more likely to feel traumatized by each other in the present because they're flashing back, you know, so it's a real mess. So anyway, just imagine all your major and minor chakras and just allow yourself to release whatever guck is messing with your vibe. You know, it could be other people's trauma that you took on copies of. It could be your own. It could be just stress, you know, just foreign energy that's not yours, worries that you're letting yourself spiral on. Just allow yourself to release anything from your major and minor chakras that's messing with your vibe. Because the more you vibe like the real you, the easier it is for your people to find you, meaning like business clients that are looking for the real you and would appreciate the real you, friends, potential long-term partners, appetizer men, whatever. It's a reference to a relationship concept that I've talked about before. Appetizer men versus entree men. Anyway, so just allow your chakras to release and let go. So that your vibe is more authentic. It's more the real you. It's more validating for you. And, you know, as a nice side effect, it's more validating for other people too, because the more your true self, you're subconsciously inspiring others to be their true self without saying anything. And the good part about that is then people that want to ignore that because they would be too triggered, they just ignore it. You know, because you're not preaching. It's just you're being you. And so the people that want to be inspired by it will be inspired by it. The people that want to ignore it will be able to ignore it more easily. Speaking of which, let's uncord backlash, people. We've already done 3 of the 5 essentials, so we'll just kind of do this too. I generally don't lump it in the essentials group. Sometimes I leave it out, but it is really good to do, especially if you do have backlash people in your life or setback people in your life. I would say most of my clients do. Yeah. I mean, most people. Period. But anyway, backlash people or setback people, they're just people that, you know, get triggered when you're making progress, because maybe it's not something they're ready to do yet. And so by observing you doing it, especially if you're corded to them or they're corded to you, then they feel like this sort of big influx of energy because of the cord, and you're progressing and you're generating more energy. And so all of a sudden they get all this, you know, blast of energy, and it's very unpleasant for them. So they tend to, you know, throw energy back at you. Like, cut it out, stop growing, stop changing, you know, and so that can be really, you know, unproductive, right? But if you uncord those people, then it's easier for them to just ignore your progress, and because they're not open to it, they don't want to know about it. And so it's easier for them to ignore it. And then you don't get the backlash. They don't throw stuff at you, which is so much better. So uncord all those people. And so you imagine yourself and imagine all your backlash and setback people. You don't have to know who they are. They could be just a neighbor, somebody, you know, just coworkers, neighbors, exes, whatever, doesn't matter. Backlash people and setback people, don't do anything directly to them. Don't even talk to them directly, just especially because those people tend to be more triggered by your growth and progress. So if you get preachy with them and try to encourage them, that could initiate a lot of backlash. So don't do that. So just imagine yourself and imagine the cords in between you and them, and melt them. Just use the gold light in your aura and directly around your aura. Don't send it towards those people, right? And just melt away the cords and melt away the baggage that the cords were connecting to. You don't have to really know where it is. You can just imagine a stack of baggage that those cords were rooted into or anchored into. So again, imagine yourself and imagine all your backlash and setback people, all your potential backlash and setback people, and just look at cords, even like the thinnest, like little hair thickness of cord, right? And just melt those away and melt the baggage that those people are corded into in your space. And it could be that you initiated some of these cords subconsciously at some point. So it just doesn't matter. Just melt them all. That way you can grow at your pace, they can grow at their pace, and they're less likely to freak out about what you're doing because they're not connected to you with a cord. All right, good job. Okay, so now we'll do the fourth essential, which is creative rings, really. Up here, 1, 2, 3, 3 gold creative rings. But I like to add stuff lately to working the creative rings, but I don't want to overshadow that the creative rings are really important, and that's sort of the focus of this essential. Your creative rings, they are a part of your astral body system. So they're right above your astral body head, right above your astral 7th chakra, and they come and go with you as a spirit, you know, because your astral body is you. And go ahead and imagine a copy out in front of you of your 3 gold creative rings and both your 7th chakras, which are in the top of your head. They're very close by to your creative rings. So creative rings, 7th chakras, they're oriented this way with the round opening at the top and the round opening at the bottom. Purple is an ideal color, whatever shade of purple you want for your 7th chakras. And then you have the GV meridian, which goes starts at the crotch in the back and goes up the midline of the back and hooks around to the roof of the mouth. So it goes over the top of the head and stops at the roof of the mouth. But I'm just gonna, you know, imagine that the top part right there of the GV meridian, and the GV20 acupuncture point is right in there, that the uppermost part. And so spatially it is where your 7th chakra is, although it's oriented differently and it's smaller. So you're, you know, if the actual size of your creative ring of your 7th chakras is like maybe this big, then your GV20 is actually much smaller than that, and it's oriented differently. It's oriented this way, you know, because the GV meridian is here, so it's sort of lying in there like this, you know, inside there. So anyway, just imagine that. Creative rings, 7th chakras, top of GV meridian, and then GV20 point. And just unblock and repair and melt cords from all that. And you can just have any hard objects just pop out and explode that are in that region. Melt cords. Are there any invasive beings in the way? You can just say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings in the way of this work? And you could also do sticky gold wax for that whole area. Sticky gold wax for creative rings, your 7th chakras, top of your GV meridian, the GV20 point. Sticky gold wax the whole thing. Have the wax stick to whatever's not you that is healthy and gentle to get rid of right now. Move it out. Angels, here you go. Again, sticky gold wax, rings, 7th chakras, GV20, GV, top part of it. And move out the junk. Angels, here you go. And I mentioned briefly in the discussion overview, the overview of theme and technique section, that you want the meridians to be like the meridians are like a pipe, right? That energy flows through, but you want it to be a flowy pipe, not a hard pipe, right? And you don't want any leaks in the pipe also. But red is a nice color for any of the meridians as far as what's the color of the tube or the pipe, you know, and just have it be a red flowy pipe. So if it's hard and black, you know, don't be surprised, but just keep working it, melting away the hardness, repairing and nourishing with gold light so that it turns nice and red and flowy. And the 7th chakras. And your creative rings. Creative rings can leak a lot of energy, which can be a big problem. I mean, they're one of those things where it's fantastic when it's good and it can be terrible when it's bad, you know, creative rings. So if they're leaking, they could be leaking a ton of energy, which could because they literally generate gold light. So they're very obvious on a spirit level, first of all. And if they're leaking, it's like this flashing neon sign like, hey, free energy here, free energy here. So if you're overwhelmed, you know, take care of the leaks in your 7th chakra and your creative rings. 7th chakras and creative rings could be the main source of the leaks. Also, since 7th chakra has to do with autonomy, confidence, intuition, identity, a lot of people like target the top of your head. And so that's why it's commonly damaged, because it's a common target. But you know, we already repaired the auras in everywhere. But just make sure you unblocked the top part of all your auras, because you don't want pressure. You know, hardness in the auras creates a pressure. Inflexible. So with creative rings, you definitely want to, they have those flaps when they're irritated, right? And they can be corded. You have pairs of cords going into the flaps. You can have hard objects stuck in the flaps. So just, you know, keep popping out the hard objects, melt the cords. And all your major chakras also have those flaps, so you can just let the major chakras relax. So really, at the moment, I'm not just doing the 7th chakras. I'm doing 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 as well. Just focusing on the round openings, so that there's no cords. Pop out the hard objects. Let the flaps relax and fall shut, so that your energy can come in and out. But it's not as easy for people to cord you. Again, the top of the GV meridian. Feel that to the point where it's nice and red and flexible and flowy, flowy. GV 20 point up there. Pop out the hard objects, do some extra repair. All right, good enough. So that was a lot. If that freaks you out, if it was too much for you, cut yourself some slack. Try it another day, maybe. It was a lot. Good to do. But if you feel like it's too much, don't be too hard on yourself. Okay, that's way too big. Okay. So the 5th essential is another biggie. So it's basically back here, and it also involves your neck and the top part. So your good karma windows, there's one in each astral body aura layer. They look like triple frame windows like that, but not as big. And they're each the color of the aura layer, so red, orange, yellow, green, light blue. And that's if you set your chakras to those colors, your major chakras. Just comb through them and use gold light. And you can kind of pop out any hard objects, have them explode and dissolve away. And if there are any invasive beings in this area, which is possible, you can just, the angels, can you recycle any invasive beings in this area? And your angels may want you to work some out as well. Like when I just did that, for the people I'm healing, half of them got removed. Invasive beings, but not all of them. Right? So then just, you can just imagine they work their way through the good karma windows and then into base of skull points or into major chakras after that. So they come in and then, so just, you know, imagine it can look like braided string maybe. So just imagine any, and it can be a person's energy too. So just imagine, you know, like braided string of somebody else's energy, invasive beings or people. Just freeze that and lift it out. Give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. And just take a few deep breaths into your spine, into your hips, into your feet, hands, into your shoulders. Okay, so again, good karma windows back there. One in each astral body aura layer. And so you want those repaired. So the gold light will do that. You don't have to worry, you know, what does a triple frame look like, blah, blah, blah. Just let the gold light do repairs. And if there's anything woven in, you know, accessing your base of skull points, acupuncture points in the base of your skull or your major chakras from there, just imagine it and freeze it and just ease it out with gold light. Give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. Again, anything that's not you woven in there, just freeze it, lift it out. Angels, here you go. And just give a nice little healing to the major chakras along your spine, your 7 astral and 7 physical chakras, and your base of skull point. Okay, so base of skull points are the ones, if you look at the ears and then all the points in between the ears. There's like pretty much 2 rows of points, except then the GV Meridian. 2 points in the lower rows. But just imagine those points. And you can repair those points. Each of them is a minor chakra, so they would be oriented this way because that's the way the meridian is. And then for the GV meridian, that's the one going up the midline. The energy is going upward. It looks like a gray line in the diagram. And then the yellow one, that's UB, urinary bladder meridian. That's going downward. And the other one is like a green-blue, GB, gallbladder meridian, and that's going downward too. Not that you have to know that because the chakras know which direction to push the energy. You just repair and unblock the chakras and they'll do their work. So I'm just imagining these base of skull points and doing repair and unblocking. They can get really crumpled, these minor chakras. If you keep healing them eventually, you know, and you just have the hard objects pop out and destroy, then eventually they just resume their normal shape. So then you're imagining those base of skull points, but then you also imagine your good karma windows and any energy that's sort of flowing through that's negatively impacting those base of skull points. Imagine that and ease it out. Give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. Imagine that stuff. Ease it out. Angels, here. You can also have plates of hard energy in your auras right behind your base of skull points. So check for any plates of hard energy there and melt those away with gold light. If any of them aren't melting easily, you can just lift out the plates of hard energy behind your base of skull points. Give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. And again, you want to see and be aware and imagine and clear what's healthy and gentle to do right now, right? So base of skull points, any hard plates of energy behind them, and just in your auras behind them, just lift that out. Give to your angels. Angels, here you go. And flow zone is this same area, but in your physical body aura, not your astral body aura. So flow zone also includes around and inside your neck and inside your spinal cord right there. I heard about that noise. So you just imagine your flow zone, which is again this whole back area, but it's in your physical body aura, but same area spatially. Yeah, just imagine the blocks and melt them away. You could have your entire flow zone be solidly blocked. Not that uncommon, but just use lots of gold light and melt it all away. Again, flow zone includes area right around your neck and within your neck, in your the spinal vertebrae in your spinal cervical vertebrae in your neck and your spinal cord. You want your spinal cord to be really flowy. So the very top of your spinal cord as it goes into your lower brainstem. Or your brainstem, which is the lower part of your brain. So just unblock whole area. Again, we're doing flow zone in the physical body aura, and it's around the physical body neck and in the physical body neck. So you could have energy that just kind of works its way in, that's not yours, works its way in through the flow zone into the neck and the spinal column and the base of skull points. So if there is anything like that, you could imagine it like braided string if you want, and just grip it with gold light and lift it out. Give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. Imagine it like braided string if you want, and freeze it with gold light. Lift it out. Angels, here you go. If you want, you can do like a physical massage type idea, just gently. You can even give like a special red grounding to your whole base of skull area, physical base of skull area. Red grounding all the way down to the core of the earth, just to let that extra pressure just drain out all the way down to the core of the earth. And take your time with that. I mean, you could have lifetimes of pressure built up by your base of skull points. Because we're clearing the physical body area, but a lot of times spiritual blocks, you carry them with you into your next life if you don't clear them, and then they get superimposed on your new physical body. So even though we're doing red grounding for your physical body, base of skull area, can be passed like that. The more junk you release, the more you want to be here. The more flowy it is, the more comfortable it is, which helps your focus. It helps your safety, your boundaries, all sorts of good stuff. Even your sleep. So just let all that junk dump out from your base of skull points and go all the way down to the core of the earth. All right, good job. Confetti explosion. All righty. Well, that's good enough for now. You can always do more with that, but good job. Oh, speaking of which, if you wish, give me a thumbs up and I'll give you a thumbs up. How about that? So if you give a thumbs up to this video, then these are for you too. Good job for healing yourself. You're amazing. What a rock star. All righty. So good. We've done our 5 essentials and we uncorded backlash people in the middle of that. So extra points. All right. Okay, so this is something that we did do last year when we worked meridians. At some point we did this, where you imagine a river that represents the energy flow in all your meridians of your physical body, and you unblock that river to the extent that's healthy and gentle to do right now. And so let's do that. And as we do that, we'll let go of and clear and also nourish in certain ways, like clearing grief and other ways that I'm looking at that would help people with their flow with it. Because just like with chakras and auras, flow is everything, basically. Keeping everything flowing, flow. Don't get stuck on stuff, right? Just let it go. Just keep your flow. That's strength. That's going to help you progress and be more satisfied and feel good, and it's a great thing. Okay, so you can just imagine one river and have it represent all your meridians of your physical body. So your 12 regular meridians, as well as GV and CV meridian, and a couple others. So just all your meridians. You don't have to know each one, right? So just imagine one river that represents them. And ideally, you'd want your life force to be red. You could like put little gold glitter in there if you want. As long as it's your gold, that's fine. But look for clogs and melt away the clogs. And of course, your intention, especially with any body stuff, and meridians are definitely body stuff, there's a pacing, a healthy and gentle pacing, right? Especially like, for example, with meridians, if you unblock one part of one meridian, then you'll get more flow throughout the meridian. And then the next meridian that it flows into will get more flow. And so there could be, if you do the pacing at healthy and gentle, then you have probably all good effects, like all enjoyable effects, right? But if you do too much, then you could feel a little bit out of it, or, you know, just less. It won't feel like you helped yourself, you know, which isn't as fun at all, you know. And it could just, you know, give you extra drama you didn't need, right? So just healthy and gentle is your intention. I would suggest. And then just as you're working the river, just find, you know, since that's your intention, you're going to find blocks that are healthy and gentle to clear. You can say, angels, help me do this at a healthy and gentle pace. So then, you know, that helps too. So just imagine the river that represents all your meridians flowing, and just find a block that's good to clear right now. You're on in so much gold light. And two, you know, you can say, angels, if there are any beings in the way of this, can you recycle them? And then go ahead and find another clog in this river that represents all your meridians. And angels, if there are any invasive beings in the way, can you recycle them? Focus a lot of gold light on the blocks so that they can melt away. And grief was one thing that I noticed that could be creating like a heaviness, a lack of flow in a whole bunch of meridians, really. So just if you're imagining this one river that represents the energy flow in all your body meridians, just imagine if there's any grief blocking the flow, hindering it, that's good to get rid of right now, and just use gold light. It could look like a layer of mud at the bottom, or it could, like, you know, look like a corked up part, or both. And just take your time. And just melt it away. And you can say, angels, if there are any invasive beings in the way, can you please recycle them? So what are we doing? We're imagining one river that represents all your traditional Chinese medicine meridians of your physical body. And just check out the flow. Imagine the flow. And if it's blocked in a certain part, just use gold light to melt it away. And again, your intention is you only want to see, intuit, clear, heal what is healthy and gentle to do right now. And you can say too, angels, please help me do this at a healthy and gentle pace. And I had mentioned the surface of the meridian itself. You don't want leaks, and you also don't want it to be hard. You want it to be red and flowy, versus like hard and blackened is a common state that's not healthy, right? So just notice that outer surface of the river, like the tube that the river's in, and just use cold light and melt away any hard crustiness. And maybe there's some repairs needed. Maybe there's a couple holes where the hard crustiness was. So just use so much gold light that it grows back. You can have hard objects stuck in the tube. So just pop those out, let them explode, or just lift them out. Give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. Lift them out. Angels, here you go. And you can say, angels, if there are any beings in the way, can you please recycle them? So again, you're checking for leaks. You're also checking for hardness. And if you find some leaks, and there are no beings in the way, then, but check for hard objects and beings if you find some. Lift out the hard objects. Angels, can you recycle the beings in the way? And just do the repair. So repressed emotion can affect your meridians. It can affect all sorts of things. But so you can imagine, again, this one river within a tube that represents all your meridians, and the flow in all your meridians. And check for example, repressed anger in this river and this tube, and just see if you have any impacting the flow and wellness of your meridians and the flow. And if you do, just melt it away with gold light. Melt away the repressed anger. So again, find some more stuck anger in your meridians and melt it away with gold light. I say, angels, help me do this in a healthy and gentle way. You could have fear bottled up in your meridians, affecting the flow negatively. So just imagine this one river within one tube that represents all your meridians and the flow within all your meridians. And just imagine if you have any repressed fear, either you took on somebody else's copy or it's your own fear, and just notice what that looks like. And just use gold light and melt it away. Again, notice the surface of the tube itself as you're clearing this repressed fear. Does the fear make it really rigid and hard? And so if so, just use extra gold light so that fear melts away. And the tube representing all your meridians can be more red and flowy. You can have resentments. You can have loneliness. This is like classic fourth chakra type blocks. Resentment, loneliness, self-esteem issues. Those can be blocking up your meridians and the flow within your meridians. So as you imagine this one river within one tube that represents all your meridians, notice if you have any resentment and or self-esteem issues, motivation issues that are blocking up your meridians and your meridian flow. Yeah, just take your time and melt those away. Maybe you took on other people's resentments or other people's self-esteem issues, other people's motivation issues, or maybe somebody shoved their expectations into your heart chakra, which caused you to get all stuck on all this stuff. So just melt away any expectations that are impacting your meridian flow or the meridians itself, the meridians themselves. Melt away loneliness blocks, self-esteem blocks. And let's do some nourishing. We haven't done that much yet. So you can keep that copy out in front of you representing with the one flowy river and inside the red flowy tube that represents all your meridians. And make flowers, make energy healing flowers to nourish your meridians. So make as many energy healing flowers you need. Make them out of universal healing energy. It could be rainbow colors. It could be gold light. It could be both. And say, angels, can you check my flowers? You want to set them to whatever healing vibration your meridians need to be nourished and whole and healthy. And just, angels, check my flowers. And then give them to your meridians. A little copy. And you could also just make more flowers, have your angels check them, and give them to your meridians this way. Have them go to wherever they need to go with all your meridians. And make more energy healing flowers to nourish and heal your meridians. Angels, can you check my flowers? And give them to your meridians either by giving them to that copy that you're working or giving them directly to yourself. Angels, can you check my flowers? check the outer surface of the meridian, of the river that represents all the meridians. And whatever hardness is within that tube, just lift out the hardness. Give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. It could be other people's anger towards you that you took on. So lift out the hardness. Angels, here you go. You don't have to know what it is, though. All right, good job. Good job. I'm going to look, see what we should do next. So we're going to do the GV and CV meridians by themselves, and especially the GV1 point and CV1 point, which are at the beginning of the meridian, and they, in some ways, I would say, set the tone for the meridian. They certainly can be like a gateway, like if they're too blocked or they're not generating enough energy, then you just don't have enough energy and force with that meridian. So anyway, GV is governing vessel, starts in the crotch, goes up the midline of the back, ends in the roof of the mouth. CV, conception vessel, starts in the crotch, goes up the midline of the front, and ends in the tip of the tongue. So CV is kind of short, straight up, and GV goes all the way and hooks around. So it's like a candy cane. Right? And so just check out your GV and CV meridians. Check out the flow. They both flow upward. And see if they feel like too skinny and sort of empty, and just let them expand. And if they feel a little too empty, GV1 in particular and CV1 in particular, unblock those and repair those and heal those just with gold light, so they can do a better job at generating energy. Even like the first couple points. See if I no. Okay, so urinary bladder meridian. Make that. This shows the path of the urinary bladder meridian. It branches off into 4 branches, so it's going to show the inner 2, and then it's so anyway, wanted to show you down here in the lower back, just because I was looking to see if looking to see if it'll show the GV point. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what I want, but I don't think I have the G. Just me. 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 There we go. So, but the GV meridian is that gray midline. And so it starts in the crotch, goes up. You see those dots on the gray? Those are the ones that I want to show you as well. So that, you know, you unblock the GV meridian, GV1 point at the crotch, which you can't exactly see there, which is fortunate because it's a male model. And when they do show it, they're very literal. They show the genitalia of the guy like up close, which is definitely TMI. But anyway, those points along the GV meridian there, those little dots, right? Those are acupuncture points. So you can check those too, because they could be way too compressed, right? They should be chakras, right? Minor chakras within the GV meridian, right? Bam, 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 bam. And you don't want them to be too compressed. Let them expand as much as they need to within that meridian, so that you can freely have a really powerful GV meridian if you need it. GV meridian, it helps to manage your yang meridians, and it yang energy, you know, self-assertiveness, take charge of yourself. It also balances your yin energy, you know, they balance each other. That's why a lot of times I'm working GV and CV at the same time. CV manages your yin meridians. But anyway, right now we're working the GV, that gray line right there, and all those little early points. GV1, GV2, GV3, etc. Okay, and then CV meridian, I can show some of the early points of the CV meridian right here. Sorry about that. Very literal with the male model's hair there. But so it's shown as a gray line inside the two orange lines. That's the CV meridian, conception vessel meridian. And the first point, you can't see it, thankfully, in that diagram. It's right in the crotch. And then, but you can see the early points in the CV meridian other than the first one. I don't know if that helps you. But again, just notice, is the meridian like too depleted and kind of like squeezed shut? You know, and the chakras, they should be expanded enough, as much as they need to, so they can generate as much energy as they need to, keep the flow going as strong as it needs to go. And the surface of the meridian itself, CV meridian, it should be red and flowy, but it can very easily get just hard and black and get rips in it. So again, CV meridian, conception vessel meridian, it's the center one there in between the orange lines. Orange lines is the kidney meridian. which I guess we could do all of these tummy meridians just really briefly. Same idea. You don't want them to be too compressed. You don't want the chakras to be damaged. You want them to do their work. The green lines there, that's the stomach meridian that goes downward, but the others go upward. And again, you don't have to know that because the chakras know which direction they should go. You just make sure the meridian is nice and red and flowy, and the chakras within it are expanded enough and flowy. Check for leaks. Leaks look like, energy spurting out of a hose. If you find leaks, just remove any hard objects in the way of the repair and then just do the repair. If there are any invasive beings, you say, angels, if there are any invasive beings in the way of this repair work, can you please recycle them? Again, we're working tummy meridians, especially CV, just because CV manages all the yin meridians, so it's very efficient. You get that one nice, then it benefits all of the yin meridians. So then you can just, oops. Didn't mean to leave all that on. Okay. Just the confetti ones. So then just a little finishing touch on GV and CV. Just again, make sure they're generating enough. Because they not only generate, but they receive like overflow from the other major meridians. So they should, be nice and flowy and unrestricted. The GV and CV, they're called extraordinary meridians in traditional Chinese medicine, so they're not part of the regular 12. Not that you have to know that. Just like fun fact. I'm just going to look for a little bit, see what we should do next. Okay, so you can have generational baggage affecting your meridians. Generational baggage is just a term I'm using right now to describe baggage that is from your relatives in this lifetime. So, for example, I was looking at a sample person and she can get fear that is fairly intense. And a big part of it is fear that is from her mother's mother, and her mother's mother's mother in this life. So she may not have even had past lives with most of those women. But, you know, that's in a lifetime when you're born into a family, even if you haven't had past lives with all those people, now you're in that group, right? At least for that lifetime. And if you accept a copy of their baggage and you don't clear it all in the lifetime, then you take on some of that into all your future lives, even though you may not have lives with those specific people again. It becomes now your burden, right? And so none of that is good or helpful. And, you know, typically if you clear generational baggage, it can break the cycle. And so it helps that whole group of people. If they're open to it. If they're not open to it, it won't help them, and that's fine, you know, but it could have a good effect on others as well. And obviously it's in your best interest. So I was looking at a sample person and, you know, like I said, she had that fear from her mom and her mom's mom and her mom's mom in this lifetime. And and it was impacting her meridians, making them more brittle and more sensitive to outside vibrations from other people. So it was messing with her boundaries, with her meridians, and making it really hard for her to manage things within her own energy system. So we'll do that first. We'll clear fear, generational fear affecting your meridians, but then we'll do other things too. And it's probably good to do them all rather than just single out one and not do the others, because what you think consciously might be the biggest issue might not be the biggest issue, and it's all helpful anyway. There you go. So I probably won't timestamp individual, like the anger versus this versus that, because I think it's probably easier to do them all. Okay. So clearing generational baggage affecting your meridians. So you don't even have to imagine the meridians. You could just imagine the fear. If you have generational fear, we'll do one side of the family at a time. So your biological mother's side of the family, we'll do that first. So it doesn't have to be from your mother's mother, you know, the female line strictly. It could just be from your mother and then her dad and then, you know, whatever, you know, that you got that way. So it doesn't have to be just mother. But I guess we could start with that in case there is some unique fears that that you took on from just the female exclusive line of your mother's line. I don't know how to describe that well, but anyway. So you can just imagine any fear that you may have taken on from those people in this lifetime any way you want, you know, as big piles of stuff, as like chests, you know, like boxes that are white. Maybe white is a lot of times the vibration of fear. It's so high, fast moving. It's too fast moving. But whatever, you can just imagine fear, the generational fear that you took on, however you want, and imagine what's healthy and gentle to clear right now, right? And then you're going to, you know, so it could be a bunch of boxes, a bunch of piles of stuff. And just say, angels, is it okay to clear this? Is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? That way they'll remove some of it. So you're not clearing your mother's baggage in her space. You're just clearing what you took on from those people, right? And just, you can melt it with cold light. And if you have agreements to keep this stuff, to keep the fear, generational fear from your mother's side of the family, just, you can imagine the agreements like a stack of papers, and just say, angels, can you help me do this? And just melt them with cold light. Melt the agreements. Because there could be, and then go ahead and imagine more, to the extent that's healthy and gentle, any generational fear from, I mean, I don't really want to get so nitpicky. So anywhere in your mother's side of the family, generational fear. And just imagine it as boxes or however you wish. And imagine it, if there are any agreements in the way, just melt those. Any invasive beings in the way, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings in the way of this work? And then just melt away the boxes of fear that you took on from your mother's side of the family. Okay. And then your biological father side of the family. And, you know, some people have had multiple father figures, like a biological father, a stepfather, whatever. Some people feel like they've had no father figures whatsoever. But in that case, you did actually have a biological father, unless maybe a sperm bank kid, like where your mother went to a sperm bank. Maybe then in most of those cases, you didn't have a biological, you didn't take on, there was no ancestors from a male side of the family. But if you, say, had a living biological father, but he just was a terrible father and was never there, still you may have taken on all the standard junk that you would have if he was around. So just check. Your dad's side of the family, did you take on any generational fear from them? And just imagine it as boxes or piles or whatever. And imagine the agreements, any healthy, what's healthy and gentle to clear right now, melt those away. If angels, if there are any beings in the way of this work, invasive beings, can you please recycle them? And then go ahead and melt away the generational fear that you took on from your father's side of the family. That's healthy and gentle to clear right now. Say, angels, help me do this. All right, cool, good job. So that was fear. So I'll just write it, but we already did it. I said I wasn't gonna separate them out, but I did anyway. But you can do them all. Then the next one I'm gonna do is grief. Generally, what I see is people have their own unprocessed grief backlog from their own past lives. But it is true that you can have generational grief that was handed to you from your dad's side of the family or your mom's side of the family. Siblings, older siblings, not so common, not as common. So we'll just do dad and mom side of the family. So you can imagine both sides at once if you want. You can separate them, but imagine them both. So like any grief you took on from your dad or your dad's side of the family, like your dad's dad or your dad's mom or whatever. So grief that you took on from your dad's side of the family, grief that you took on from your mom's side of the family. And if there are any agreements that you keep it, just you can go ahead and melt those if they're healthy and gentle to clear right now. Angels, if there are any beings in the way, invasive beings in the way of me clearing all this, can you please recycle those beings? And then you can go ahead and melt away the generational grief that you took on from your both sides of your family in this lifetime. And if you had, like, say you had two moms, say in a gay couple, lesbian couple, then you would just, you know, do one side, one mom and the other mom, you know, two sides of the family. Fine, it works the same way. Okay, and again, just imagine one more time, is there any generational grief that you picked up from your family in this lifetime, your genetic family in this lifetime? And if so, just imagine all that out in front of you, whatever's healthy and gentle to clear right now. Imagine any agreements that need to be cleared so that you can do this clearing. Go ahead and melt those agreements with gold light. Angels, if there are any invasive beings in the way of this clearing, can you please recycle them? And then go ahead and imagine the grief dump you took on from either side of your family in this lifetime. Melt that generational grief out of your space. Other people can keep their copy, it doesn't matter. Fine with them. Fine with you, they do. You don't have to preach to anybody else about this stuff. So now we'll do guilt. The biggie. Fear, grief, and guilt. Woohoo! All the fun stuff today. So you can imagine both sides of your genetic family in this lifetime. And any generational grief that you picked up. So from your mom's side of the family or your dad's side of the family, just imagine the generational grief that you took on that's healthy and gentle to clear right now. Imagine it as boxes or piles, whatever. Imagine any agreements that you would take on this grief and just that are healthy and gentle to clear right now, and just go ahead and melt those away. And then do gold light to melt away the grief, generational guilt. Melt away any generational guilt that you took on from either side of your family. Just see if you took on more guilt from your dad's side of the family or your mom's side of the family. So let's go ahead and imagine that one river to represent all the flow in all your meridians, and just see how it's flowing now since you cleared all that generational baggage so far. And you can do it before and after, like before you cleared the generational baggage. How was your meridian flowing? How this representational meridian, how was that flowing? And then after you cleared the generational fear, grief, and guilt, how did it change the meridian representing all your meridians? The river representing all your meridians. So I just want to do two more along these lines of generational baggage, clearing generational baggage that's impacting your meridians. And then we'll wrap up very soon after that. Okay. So This one, you can't see it so well there because of the font background and stuff, but see if I can. This one I want to do is, I want to, again, clear baggage, generational baggage that you took on from either your mom's side of the family or your dad's side of the family in this life. Emotional or sexual trauma baggage that you took on from either side of the family, because that's stuff that, like grief and guilt, is stuff that a lot of people never clear, and so they just bring it on to the next life, and then, you know, other people take on copies. That's just a big mess, right? And we don't want that. So emotional trauma could be, you know, anything: repressed anger, sadness, whatever. Sexual trauma, sexual abuse, stuff like that. So, you know, life is challenging enough without taking on other people's sexual trauma and other people's emotional trauma, right? Enough is enough, for gosh sakes. So, so we'll keep it simple, keep it light. You know, obviously this is a heavy thing, but it's light to get rid of it, right? So just imagine as boxes or piles out in front of you, maybe at a distance if you don't want to feel you're freaked out about it. But, you know, just imagine any emotional and or sexual trauma that you took on from your dad's side of the family or your mom's side of the family. So generational trauma. That, you know, everyone just keeps passing on. Nobody clears it. Until you. The buck stops with you. You get to clear it. So, and that benefits you. Maybe it benefits them if they're open to noticing that. It's up to them, right? So just imagine what you took on as far as generational, emotional, or sexual trauma that is impacting your meridians. And just imagine it as boxes or piles. And imagine any agreements that you have that are healthy and gentle to clear right now to help you get rid of this stuff. Melt away those agreements with gold light. You say, angels, help me do this. La, 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 la. And then, you know, angels, if there are any invasive beings in the way of me doing this work, please recycle them. And then go ahead and run gold light through the stuff. It could be looking like boxes or big piles of junk, but this is generational trauma, emotional or sexual generational trauma that you took on, right? So you're just healing yourself, but it certainly can affect others in a good way. But just melt, 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 melt. Melt the copies that you took on of emotional or sexual trauma that are healthy and gentle to get rid of right now. And, you know, again, just for good measure, you imagine yourself, imagine all your backlash and setback people, melt cords. Don't send gold light to them. Just melt the cords as they go into your space. Melt whatever they're anchored into, melt just outside of your space with gold light, melt all those cords. So you don't want to have any cords going to your backlash people, your setback people, because that way they can ignore what you're doing because they're not ready to deal with it. That's why they're backlash and setback people. So just imagine your backlash and setback people, whoever they are, and just melt the cords between you and them, even the teeny weeny thin ones. Melt them away. La, 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 la. And then melt the baggage that they're corded into. Okay, good job. All right, so that was a heavy duty one, but you know, sometimes you just have to clear heavy duty stuff in order to feel not heavy duty, right? In order to feel levity and gratitude and all the beautiful things in life, right? So that's okay. So again, now that we're totally detached from that as much as possible, again, just one more time, any generational baggage affecting your meridians, especially sexual and emotional trauma that you took on from your dad's side of the family or your mom's side of the family, imagine it out in front of you. You can imagine a nice little gold bunch of flowers in between you and that stuff if it freaks you out, and just lots of gold light. If there are agreements that you should keep this stuff that are healthy and gentle to clear, just use gold light. You can imagine them like pieces of paper and just melt the pieces of paper with gold light. You say, angels, help me do this. Is there any beings in the way of you doing this? Invasive beings. Just say, angels, can you recycle these invasive beings? And then just go ahead and melt away the emotional and or sexual trauma, generational stuff that you picked up from either side of your family in this life. All right, and then we'll just do a catch-all, you know, any leftover, anything that we didn't say already. Oops, general. Okay, so you can imagine your meridian, if you want to, like a representative meridian that represents all your meridians, like a river inside a nice flowy tube that represents all your meridians. Check out how that's doing right now. And then imagine any generational baggage, any type, you know, that maybe a type we didn't mention already or whatever, anything that's healthy and gentle to get rid of, any generational baggage that's adversely affecting your meridians, negatively affecting your meridians, just go ahead and get ready to melt that away. Check for agreements. Are there any agreements that you keep this junk that are healthy and gentle to get rid of? And just go ahead and melt that away. Melt those agreements. And you can ask your angels, angels, could you please recycle any invasive beings in the way of me clearing all this? And then go ahead and melt it away. Melt generational baggage, just whatever type it is that you got from either side of your family in this life that's adversely affecting your meridians. Get rid of it. Enough is enough, right? All right, so you deserve some double confetti for that one. There you go. You're a total rock star for doing that. Even if you did like a fraction of what I just did. Releasing generational baggage that was affecting your meridians. Woo, woo, woo. Okay, so now at long last, we will do wrap up. Just a little extra overall healing. Help you feel awesome. So just imagine everything out in front of you. All your 17 auras, your physical body and your astral body are inside there. Both your groundings, physical body and astral body grounding, going all the way down to the core of the earth. Nice and wide and flowing. Unblock the back of your auras, the back of your groundings. Gold light. Unblock the back of your major chakras, 6 through 1 especially. Gold light through all your auras. Oh, I didn't mention during the aura repair section, didn't mention it out loud. I always mention it telepathically, but a lot of times I forget out loud. Redo your gold buffer zones. Redo those. There's an 18-minute video called Gold Buffer Zones that walks you through aura repair as well as creating gold buffer zones if you don't know how to do that. Check unblock above the top of your head in all your auras and also above the top of all your auras. You could have some clogs up there. Sorry, I know it looks funny when I yawn, but I don't want to stop healing while I yawn, so. So again, I'm unblocking above, in the auras above the head, and also above the top of the auras, unblocking there. Unblock in front of the tummy meridians. Your aura is in front of the tummy meridians. So like, right. Two big blocks are, just my phrase, to mean energy blocks that are still not clear after the thousands of ways that we've been doing energy clearing in this healing. So you can pile up your two big blocks out in front of you, any energy blocks that are bothering you on any level, subconsciously or consciously, and just pile them up, and you can make a big red grounding for them all the way down to the core of the earth and soak them with the red earth energy, and use gold light, melt away cords going into them from you, from anybody else, and then melt these blocks. Melt away your resistance that's in them, melt away other people's energy in them. Let them explode. Again, put more two big blocks out in front of you. Bring up the red earth energy. Melt cords. You can blow up the blocks too. There's a protective force field around the major chakras, and you can strengthen it. Just keep running gold light up and down your spine, like a really wide band of gold light. So it heals the major chakras along your spine, but then you're healing the gold force field around those chakras so that that force field is stronger, which helps so that if you get chakra damage, it's less likely to be a whole bunch of chakras at once. Like buffer zones just for the major chakras, kind of. Unblock your grounding, both groundings, in the back especially. All right. So as we wrap up, just ask your angels, give you a healing. Angels, can you please give me healing? And can you please heal my meridians? Couple deep breaths. And as I said, flow is really good for meridians. So remind yourself to let go. I used to say this a lot, be the flow. Don't be the glue, be the flow. Okay? So just talk to that part of you that's not flowing, that's all like clutchy, maybe out of fear or anger or something. And just talk to that part of you and be like, okay, I need to relax. I need to be the flow. And you can give yourself energy healing flowers, make them out of universal healing energy, rainbow colors or gold or both. The angels, can you check my flowers? And these flowers are going to be for that resistant part of you that's not flowing. You can nourish that part, right? And give that to the non-flowing, more resistant part of you, more energy healing flowers, same reason. Angels, can you check my flowers? Give them to the part of you that's not so flowy. And again, a couple deep breaths. Remind that part of you, hey, I can relax, I'm safe, I can be the flow. Flow is stronger. I can be flowing. All right, good job. Woohoo! That's a healing. You're amazing. Woohoo! Yay! Double confetti. Go. Love that. Okay, so the healing is done. I want to quickly read comments if you have some that are pertaining to the theme or something I said in this live stream, or yeah, that's it. If you have other questions about life or whatever, you can post them under any video at any time. I will get to them when I have time. And yes, I am behind on some. So if I didn't reply yet, it's not that I didn't see it. It's just that I didn't get to it yet. Okay. Someone says, tuning in from Chicago. Hi, hello to you. Someone says, hello from Ottawa, Canada. Yes, hello. Abel was a sweetheart. Yes, he still is on a spirit level. A sweetheart. Big sweetheart. Always a wonderful day when I tune into your live healings. Thank you. Hi, Janet. Thank you for healing me and my spouse. Yes, my pleasure. Thank you for the healing. The foundation clearing felt like boot camp. The foundation clearing felt like boot camp. You probably mean like the 5 essentials that we do at the start. But after healing the creative rings, I felt less tired. Isn't that nice? I enjoyed clearing generational baggage. Felt like 30% emptied out. That's cool. Yeah, clearing generational baggage is I mean, with everything, the more you do it over time, the more you can clear, because you can only clear so much at once. But generational baggage, you can imagine like, okay, yeah, that's probably something that you can't clear all at once. But you just do what's healthy and gentle to do, and then you could do more, after a good night's sleep or in a week or whatever you feel like you want to go back to it. I'll see how it impacted people as I read surveys that you will hopefully fill out tomorrow. I'll see how it impacted people, and we may do it again in this set. We'll see. I don't know if it's necessary. Hi, Janet. I'm feeling a lot of money worries these days. Which video or technique would you recommend for me this time? I found the techniques today felt like boot camp too. Boot camp, get you into shape. Money worries. Yeah. There's an interesting thing going on with the 7th and the 1st chakra. 7th chakra in the top of the head is confidence, intuition, identity, goals. And then 1st chakra is courage, safety, and abundance. And so when the 1st chakra is messed up, blocked, damaged, corded, etc., you would feel the absence of that. So you would feel nervousness, anxiety, stuff like that. And when the 7th chakra in the top of the head is messed up, you would feel a lack of confidence, right? And so I think you could zero in on the boundary issues you're having if you imagine your 7th chakra and your 1st chakra at the same time. Your 7th chakra, 1st chakra, and just sort of imagine what is impacting both of them at the same time, because there's something about you're not able to use both of them together and, you know, have your abundance and your confidence. So sometimes it's a person that's courting both of them at once, or several people, and it can be like people that you work with, or people who, you know, sometimes what I've found, which I think happens with you as well, is you can have people that wish they were doing what you're doing, like as a reader healer, you know, pro reader healer. There are a lot of people that get trained to, you know, with these skills, but they don't use them professionally. And some of those, you know, very small fraction of those people in the past have gotten very invasive with me because they are very conflicted that I'm doing what they feel they should be doing or they wanted to do, but they decided not to clear enough fear or whatever, and they just didn't do it. But so you may have that as well, you know, that certain career that you have or that you've been trying to have, trying to, you know, get off the ground more. There are people that have similar dreams, but they aren't as willing to jump in and go for it as you are, but they're like kind of envious and bitter and maybe backseat driving you. And so those are all potential suspects, we'll say, you know. But you don't have to know who these people are, but just for an example. So you imagine your 7th and your 1st, and you just look for who's courting. And, you know, of course, clear the baggage in your 7th layer and your 1st layer and your 7th chakras and your 1st chakras that they're courting. But sometimes just seeing the 7th and the 1st together and see the chords and just melt, and, you know, because I think that it could jumpstart things nicely. Someone says, thank you for our energy healing and teaching us techniques today. You're welcome. I had the urge to cough and clear my throat quite a bit today. I'll remember what is gentle and healthy while I keep using this healing. Yeah, sometimes with me, when I cough, it's just my angels trying to make me to drink my water because I don't drink enough during the day. And I need to drink a lot more. I mean, sometimes if I cough, it's actually, you know, damage happening, like hard objects in the front right there. Or, you know, hard objects and cords and invasive beings, you know, all at once, you know, or the telepathic mesh, same thing, damage, cords, beings. But a lot of times during the healing, I'm kind of in the zone, and that's not the case. And it's just my angels playing a funny trick with me. They're amused by that. That they're going to make me cough until I drink enough water, and then they won't make me cough. And they're like, haha, what made you do it? You know, angels are very crafty, you know, they'll make you, you know, I mean, they're trying to look after you, you know, and if you're not sensible enough like me to drink water properly, then they have to resort to little tricks. So maybe it's half and half. In your case. Someone says, thank you, Janet. Loved the generational work. I was feeling kind of jittery and anxious before the healing, but now I feel chill. Yeah, that's cool. It says, thank you so much. Felt a bit sleepy after intergenerational fear trauma clearing. It had gone right side off and on a little better. Sorry, missed it, but able crossed over. Yes. Yeah, I announced it at the start, near the start. It'll be a separate chapter, so you could zoom right to that one. It'll be called, you know, Pets Grief, something like that. It was right near the beginning, not right at the beginning. But yeah, I wanted to announce it at the beginning so that people have a chance to clear, you know, rather than announcing it at the end when there's no more healing after that. But yeah, Abel did cross over last month. So I got to do all my clearing before I announced it publicly. Of course, my husband, he doesn't feel the same way. So he announced it like the day after or some darn thing on his social media. But fortunately, most of you guys don't follow all his social media. So, and he did have a harder time clearing because he announced it, but he always says that. That's just his way. So whatever. But I always encourage people to, if you don't have to announce some big grief news to people right away, just take your time and do your own clearing first and do your own processing and then announce it to a whole bunch of people. Because that way there's less baggage for people to cord accidentally when they find out about your event, your grief event. But yeah, he had a good life, very long life, and he's still adorable as a little angel dog. He shows up all the time. He's still around Lorenzo even more now than he was when he was in the body. Someone says, thanks, Jenna. I feel, oh wait, and about your sleepy, I think with when you were sleepy after the intergenerational I think it was your grounding just got a little blocked in the back of your aura. In the back of like chakras 2 and 1 got a little blocked. So maybe if you do want to use the recording and do it again later, just maybe incorporate a little more grounding unblocking and unblocking your lower chakras in the back as you do that generational baggage clearing. The headache on right side off and on a little better. Yeah, there's still a couple hard objects in some of the meridians around the back of the head. So you could, later you could freeze frame on like that image and also freeze frame on that image and just use it to imagine the meridians and, pop out the hard objects. And give yourself some confetti while you're at it. But yeah, just a little extra meridian repair for your head to help your headache. But your auras are all repaired around there. It's just a little bit of your meridians. Some of them are a little too compressed around your head. Thanks, Janet. I feel really clear-headed and settled. Well, that's nice. Definitely noticed a big difference in how I felt before healing, tired and scattered, and now. Cool. I'm glad. Someone says, thank you, Janet. I felt lighter at the back of my legs and my spine, areas that usually aren't flowy. Clearing generational stuff was great, but I felt like I was betraying my relatives. Yeah. Yeah. I would say that means you need to do that exercise a whole lot more. Just uncord your backlash people first. But yeah, you were actually one of the sample people for that, for clearing generational baggage affecting your meridians. So yeah, you have free will. You don't have to do it ever again, but I would suggest that one for you especially. But for everybody, it's a good one. Yeah, you're not betraying relatives by not getting screwed by them. I mean, it's better karma that way. That way they're not weighing you down. And, they would have cleared the stuff if they were ready to do it. It's not like they're, it's not like they need you to be oppressed. They just didn't get around to clearing it themselves, So it's not, I mean, I guess maybe you have some malevolent relative somewhere that really wants you to be in as much pain as they were. But most relatives aren't like that. They just, they just didn't get around to clearing it. And so it's just handed down like, okay, well, maybe you'll have better luck than I did. So, yeah, you're not really betraying them. But interesting that it felt that way. Someone says, always happy to have generational baggage cleared out. My family tree has heaps of baggage. Yes, mine as well. Someone says, thank you. You're welcome. Someone says, that cracked me up. I drank more water anyway. Yep. Never a bad thing. You know, I think I'm supposed to drink like 3.5 of these each day, like based on my weight and stuff. And, you know, that's a lot of water. I mean, it's good. I should, you know, but it's rare the day that I drink that much, but I should. They say that like everyone's way more dehydrated than you realize. And it can cause a lot of complications. Yeah. Drinking water is good. And if you drink caffeine stuff, that makes it even worse because like that's a diuretic, and so it makes you expel more water than you need to expel. But anyway, so drinking water is good. I drink warm water though, because I can't handle cold stuff. I mean, unless it's like a heat wave or something. But okay. Someone says, I feel so much calmer and peaceful after the healing. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Glad. Someone says, thanks. I think the confetti was celebrating the, oh, that heart is in the way. I can't see what you said. The something healing process this week. Well, good. I hope you like the confetti. I love it too. I'm totally stuck on that confetti. It's awesome. When I was a little girl, in school, in like elementary school, there was this thing about stickers. Like girls, they liked stickers and they had sticker books. And a lot of the stickers would have like glitter on them and stuff. And like young girls, they would have like little lip gloss and stuff. It was like chapstick, but it was colored and it smelled like, you know, berries or something. Or they would have like glitter nail polish. And I wasn't allowed to do any of that. Like my mother, she just, I don't know. She's a bit of a killjoy in this life. So I think that's part of why I really need my glitter confetti. Because I saw all these girls my age doing stickers and all this pretty cute stuff, and so better late than never, though. That's one of my mottos: is it's never too late to have a happy childhood. So yay for that! Let's do some extra confetti just to. Never too late to have a happy childhood. Woohoo! Woohoo! And then to wrap up, we can do you couldn't have a sticker album? No, I couldn't have a sticker album. And like they were so cool. Like people had these, you know, hearts and unicorns and all sorts of glittery stuff, glittery, sparkly hearts and stuff. And yeah, I wasn't allowed to do any of that. No Barbies, no dolls, no stuffed animals even. Once though my like one of my few I guess moments of standing up for myself, I wanted a stuffed bunny. And my mom was like, all right, well, you have to earn it. You know, you have to, you know, so I had to pull all these weeds. You had to pull like a big 5-gallon bucket of weeds to get like a quarter. And then so I had to pull a lot of weeds and you had to stuff them down, you know, you couldn't like poof it up, you know. So I had to pull all these weeds, lots and lots of buckets of weeds to get enough money to buy a stuffed bunny rabbit at the store. But then I had no more money, of course. But so I got a stuffed bunny. But by the time I was ready to buy the stuffed bunny, like the Easter holiday was long past. So like the store wasn't full of really cute stuffed bunnies anymore. So there was just like the leftover bunnies. So I got this bunny that was brown. It wasn't like pink or yellow or, you know, purple or anything. It was just a brown bunny, which is still nice. I liked it though, you know. So I bought myself a bunny. So we actually own a whole bunch of stuffed animals in part because of that. So I have really cute stuffed bunnies now. But yeah, so never too late to have a happy childhood. Oh, people are talking about stickers. That's hilarious. Your mom didn't let you have cute stickers. That's horrible. Yeah, she has some issues. Stickers are so fun. Scratch and sniff. My daughters love stickers. Yep. Drinking water frequently, unfortunately, can affect the enamel of our teeth. Yeah, I did hear that. And so what I do is when I do my whole dental regimen, then I don't like the final mouthwash that I use. You're supposed to not drink for a half hour because the mouthwash is like helping remineralize your teeth. But after that, you can drink. So I don't drink all day like I used to, but I try to, binge at different times. But I don't get really paranoid about the water is messing up because what it does, yeah, it dilutes your saliva, I guess, is just what I've heard. I'm not an expert, but it dilutes your saliva, and your saliva is actually really good for remineralizing your teeth and protecting your teeth. So, but you still have to drink a lot of water anyway. So, it is what it is. My dad also didn't have stuffed animals as a kid, and he has some now that he loves. Yeah. Yeah, we have a whole thing of stuffed animals, all sorts of, dogs and frogs and lizards and all sorts of. All right, well, cool. Oh, I'll show Izzy at the end. Izzy, so now we have Izzy and we have Smokey. Izzy is a beagle. He's the final last dog standing of the laboratory beagles that we adopted. And Smokey is the last of our 4 cats that we brought all the way from Chicago. If somebody hasn't seen, there's a video that my husband edited together. It's a half hour long though, so you might not want to deal with it. But if you do want to deal with it, I have a separate YouTube channel with only a few videos on it. I'll write that out. So the name almost doesn't fit. But I have this separate YouTube channel, which only a handful of people are subscribed to, but anyone's welcome to see it and subscribe to it. It's called Janet's Pineapple Time. And it's got just, videos of dogs and stuff. And it doesn't have a lot of them, but there is this video of showing almost 10 years ago now, 8 years ago, when my husband and I and 7 pets drove all the way from Chicago to the Pacific Northwest, to the Olympia area, and it shows how we put the cats in cages. They were 2 to these giant dog cages and 2 each, and then we had 3 different dogs at that time. All have since crossed over, natural causes. But anyway, so Smokey is the final cat that we brought all the way from Chicago, and we still have him too. But he's he's right there. Actually, I'll show him. Hold on. Let me see. I'll show Izzy and Smokey. So Smokey, I'll actually wake him up and show him to you because he's never on camera these days. You never see him because he just goes off somewhere and naps during my live streams. But I'll wake him up for you so you can see him. He doesn't know why I'm doing. You're doing. Oops. But anyway, this is Smokey. Are he so cute? And he's mostly black. He just has a little bit of white by his scratch right there, and a little bit of white teeny bit on his neck, but you we call him Moki Mo too. You're so cute, aren't you? Of course. Izzy, you've seen a million times, but I'll show him to you again, of course. Izzy, come here. So there he is. All handsome and fabulous. Oh, I know. You're such a good boy. You're such a good boy, aren't you? Yes, you are. Oh, boy. Oh, just sweetheart. Do you hear that? I don't think you can hear it because the microphone might not pick it up, but he makes these groaning sounds when he's happy, when you're petting him. He's like so anyway. All right. So someone says hi, kitty. Yes. He's looking at me now like, what are you up to, Mom? If I had given him some treats when I woke him up, that would have been more his preference. This is hi, Izzy. Yes, hi, Izzy. He wants Mommy to take him out now, so I'll be doing that. All right, you guys are amazing, and oh, I'm not sure. I think I'm gonna redo the thumbnail of this video and have it show, like, you know, something like this. Yeah. Rather than just the flower scene. I just didn't want to use an old image of myself because the hair is so different. I figured I should show the new in the thumbnail. A trivial bit of information. All right. Oh, and I can't wait to show you my new glasses, but I just don't have them yet. Sorry about that. All right, bye. A little double confetti. Let's see, we'll do it again. There we go. Okay, you're amazing. Congratulations for healing yourself. You're right.